Hey everyone, really quick before you watch the video, just a quick reminder, I stream over on Twitch, Sunday to Wednesday, links are in the description, make sure you come and check us out. Till not so long ago, you were one of many adventurers seeking to make their way in Eorzea. But for your character and courage, you have risen to esteemed post of envoy. Therefore, you've travelled the realm, aiding those in need without thought of reward. Confirming some fan credit and the scions that would believe you aid. No sooner had you joined us, you personally bested the primal Ifrit. You achieved a great deal in a short time, and won fame in doing so. Fame does not come without a price, as you'll soon discover. We have guests, Luma, or rather, you have guests. Beg pardons. Hemophilia, radiance as always. You understand that the Scion of Seven Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero in their midst. I am here on behalf of the Maelstrom Grand Company of LumusDigital to offer said hero a place of honor within our ranks. As you can see, our recent exploits have granted you the attention of the Grand Companies. Each organization would have Ifrit as Ifrit's bane for its own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. They would not already go to such lengths to enlist a new recruit, as that they have is evidence in high regards of you. I find myself wondering how words of Lumus's deeds spread so quickly. The Immortal Flames should know of his triumph, as is to be expected, but of the other Grand Companies? Your reputation precedes you, LumusDigital. It's no ordinary man who can face a primal and emerge victorious. The Order of Twin Adders has need of a vile man such as you. Join us strength as of ours, friend, and together let us ensure the peace of every region over the 12th Wood. It's with pleasure that I finally meet you, LumusDigital. My comrades speak of you in glowing terms. Why, even before you aided us against the Amaja, as your primal yours was already a respected name in Oldar, our people know you and love you well. One of your talents belongs with the Immortal Flames. Join your strength with ours, friend, and together let us secure the prosperity of the future for Oldar. The Admiral was not outrageous when she said you'd have the look of a hero. Full often does she speak of you, friend. It's only natural we'd want you for the Maelstrom. Join our strength and ours. Together let us put the grand vessel of LumusDigital on the shores of glory. Lady Hemophilia. Very well. Though I'm quite sure you need no reminding, as mayhaps the brief summary of the situation as would help clarify your thoughts on the matter. As you know, the Grand Companies are all company organizations empowered to call upon, as the materials and commerce in technology resources are representative. States in times of strife. There is the presently three such organizations: the Maelstrom of Limsa, the Order of Twin Adders in Gridania, and the Immortal Flames of Oldar. Serving the Grand Company means serving the nation in which it belongs. You will be charged with its defense and tasking with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you'll be furnished with various rewards, some which may prove useful to you in your other endeavors. If you're agonizing whichever one describes your loyalty, be at ease. The coincidence you make this day will not be permanent. Would you wish to shift your allegiance at a later date, you are entitled to do so. And yet, I consider there's been no small choice for you. Although it occurred to me, of course. Recall the three statuettes we're planning on holding remembrance servants. As a part of the procedure, I'm given the understanding that the leaders of each Grand Company will be delivering an address. Hearing that address will help you make an informed decision what say you, as my dear as officers? Fine suggestion. You are wise as you are beautiful, milady. Very well. Let Lumus hear out the leader speak, and then return here with his decision. We eagerly await your answer. Can you imagine how much further I would have been if I wasn't reading all the dialogue?
You mean skipping like me?
Tell you something, I'd have one hell of a less of a dry throat. I know full well that adventuring by their nature labor-loving breed, and best suited to display a military service, but I strongly urge you to join a grand company nonetheless. While the promise of reward is entitled in itself, it's not its only benefit. You possess your own great power, Lumus, and with it you are capable of doing untold good. As yet, know the great power, and it won't attract attention, nor all is friendly. There will be those who wish you ill, and you may need to look out for them. However vigilant you are but one man, and in the midst of the grand company, however, you are one man amongst many, a friend. I skipped the last bit of dialogue there by accident. You think about no better arrangement. Of course, joining one organization means not leaving another. As I hope we can continue to rely upon your aid. As the 12th know that we will need it in the days ahead. The Crown Company seeks to protect their own nations. We, Scion, on the other hand, seek to preserve the future as Eorzea as a whole. Similar yet not quite the same. Now then, I expect you to be afield more often in the future. As such, I require to carry this link pearl with you at all times. It will allow us to stay in touch regardless of location. Eorzea is changing, Lumus, and you have the power to help shape it anew. None can say what tomorrow will bring, but as long as we believe in ourselves, there is a nation that as a nation, there's nothing we can achieve. Now it is time for you to ready your journey. Before you depart, be sure to speak to Tataru. She'll praise you as where and when the remembered servants are due to take place. I'm sure that cutscene just took me 15 minutes to get through.
Yeah, they get a bit scary how long they get. You just got the Grand Company ones now.
Tataru. I'm sorry about all the attention you get, Lumus. I might have sung your praise a little too loudly, and often to a few too many people. Next time I'll be sure to hold my tongue literally if necessary. Anyway, I expect you want to know the where and when of the remembrance services that are taking place. If all goes to plan, Gridania's Grand Company, the Order of Twin Adders, will hold first of the three services. The eldest will be delivering an address at the Atmosphere, whatever. I should probably mention at this point, due to the organization's challenges as assembling all the involved parties, it's possible that the order of serves might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that. So, Gridania is your first port call. Next, you'll go to Uldar, where the Flame General Rodobon will address the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, and it is rumored there will be a special guest. How exciting! Last but not least, you'll make your way to the stateroom in Limsa Lamenta, where the Merstrom's chief will be giving her address. The room is accessible via the admin lift. Identify yourself to the sentient, and he will admit you. Got all that? Well, off you go then. I hope you find the Remembrance Servant educational. I suggest visiting city-states in my perceived order. Though, with your record of impeccable timing and luck, the schedule may as well change in favor of your preferred travel plans. Farewell. We'll go in the order she said, so to Gridania first. I like how they call it luck that those changed on a whim for us. It's like an excuse for going, yeah, just do whatever the hell you want. You know, it'd be amazing if these are something voice acted.
I lost my son to the calamity.
Oh yes, voice action!
The three seed seers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the conversation's not, though, afterwards. That's the really long part.
Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking...
There's a lot of cutscenes, so I'm just going to turn the camera off.
Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children!
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
For
forest.
the elementals!
If you'll permit me, Alfie no. And my sister, Alize, at your service. I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
And here we go. More bits for me to talk on. The Sylphs, by contrast... Oh, shit, I've still got the auto thing on. Well, I hope you all read that bit. Though the clash with the Ixil was more regular, as you may be sure that there isn't, as they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are yet bound to peace as treaties. One wonders how long it'll be before it's broken. The 12 Woods are greatly wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. The people are hopeful of restoring the woods, and thereby the power of the elementals. They will put an end to the woes, yet how long will it take? Centuries, I wager. Meanwhile, the Ixil continue their insurgence, spoused on by Garuda, and her as appearance of destruction. Whether the Guardians like it, or Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later, it will all come out as it will all come to all-out war. When it does, the Order of Twin Adders will need help, all the help we can muster. as how viable it might be to aid as other capacity will eventually let yourself prove to them. And they're off. Who's offering me to teleport? Where are you going? Oh yeah, that's where I want to go. The Chamber of Rule. Blah, blah. Time for more cutscenes now.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanima herself!
And Roban as well.
Hark, you souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. Where by the grace and glory of Naldal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Uldar stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Uldar, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Uldar. As Uldar prospers, so shall her people. Ya for Uldar!
Together we are one.
Your Grace.
Raubon? People of Uldar, I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Uldar. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Uldar, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn! Forsooth!
The time is now!
I
Fancy meeting you again.
And here we go. The Uldars have a long history of conflict with the Imaja. The Beast tribe worshipped the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distress, I take it you had an encounter with them. The Uldars do not shy from conflict. If or threaten their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So here they deal with Ifrit. So have they dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he stroked the life. Yet he is born out of several problems. Though there are many quite these past 5 years, the garlands have not gone away. Meanwhile, refuse continue to arrive in droves, and Uldar has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, it's not as the Sultan's coffers as bottomless, and even assuming they had coin, resources as be finer. Which brings to the subject of Ilfrid. It has been observed that the emergence summoned him would ever increase in frequency. Every time they do, as the Uldarans send their forces to smite the primal, and now even though they're only success, even victory is brought with blood. Is a war of tension, which they cannot as well. Small wonders then that the Immortal Flame would eager to recruit more members. As such, as spiteful hour and adventure of your experience will be most welcome amongst their ranks. For their sake, I hope the Flame General's words struck a chord with you. And to our last and final city. To Limsa Lamensa. Sprint our way over here. How you intend to remember service? Be quick. The Admiral's due to give her address at any moment. Which means, bye to the camera.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The Crimson Field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the Black Longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom Standard, and our Grand Company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilfir's bloody executioners, and together we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage, yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin have risen?
While the mines of Ogomero spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the Calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all.
Long live the Admiral! Get moving!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the seven hells, Admiral!
Okay.
Fancy meeting you again.
It's almost like you're following us. As Admiral mentioned in our address, Limbs Lamentor is plagued by two beast tribes. The first is the fish-like Sungan, as worshipped the primal Leviathan. The second is Kobolds, those who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As for the beast tribe's presence, without ours wasn't troublesome enough, the Galleons have chosen to eradicate the fortress right in the Leminz's backyard. That is said not to an internal strife, as the nation of pirates, as there is no end of blood feuds between various factions. And while they fight amongst themselves, the Garlands which their blades and watch. If the Limzins are to have hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside, and the primals threat must be dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect they'll soon make a decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my word, the Maelstrom stands to be drenched deeper in shades of crimson ere long. A capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. Link Pearl. Lumus, this is Philly. I hope all is well. Would I be correct in thinking that the final Rapid Severance is about now concluded? A moment ago you say, what a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests of the Grand Company. Well, delighted though we are to have them in the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer if necessary. In short, hurry back. Now, we are actually going to end it here, but before I go ahead and do the whole officially ending thing, I have just made this ready to go out. A tweet to help you all get involved, because we are ending before we pick a Grand Company, and it'll be over a week before we're back playing Final Fantasy again on stream. So that means those of you who have actually watched this as a YouTube video that made it this far into the video, you've still got a chance to vote yourself. So you can head over to Twitter and vote on this poll that is literally just gone live. That tweet is there for you to vote, so make sure you go to Twitter and go and vote on it for which Grand Company we'll join when we next stream Final Fantasy XIV.